Captain America, The First Avenger is a 2011 American superhero film based on the Marvel Comics character Captain America. Produced by Marvel Studios and distributed by Paramount Pictures. It is the fifth film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, MCU. The film was directed by Joe Johnston, written by Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely, and star Chris Evans as Steve Rogers / Captain America alongside Tommy Lee Jones, Hugo Weaving, Hayley Atwell, Sebastian Stan, Dominic Cooper, Toby Jones, Neil McDonough, Derek Luke, and Stanley Tucci. During World War II, Steve Rogers, a frailman, is transformed into the super soldier Captain America and must stop the Red Skull, Weaving, from using the Tesseract as an energy source for world domination. The film began as a concept in 1997 and was scheduled for distribution by Artisan Entertainment. However, a lawsuit disrupted the project and was not settled until September 2003. In 2005, Marvel Studios received a loan from Merrill Lynch, and planned to finance and release the film through Paramount Pictures. Directors Jon Favreau and Louis Leterrier were interested in directing the project before Johnston was approached in 2008. The principal characters were cast between March and June 2010. Production began in June, and filming took place in London, Manchester, Caerwent, Liverpool, and Los Angeles. Several different techniques were used by the visual effects company Lola to create the physical appearance of the character before he becomes Captain America. Captain America, The First Avenger premiered at the El Capitan Theatre in Los Angeles on July 19, 2011, and was released in the United States on July 22, a part of Phase 1 of the MCU. The film was commercially successful, grossing over $370 million worldwide. The film received positive reviews from critics, who praised Evans' performance, the film's depiction of its 1940s time period, and Johnston's direction. Two sequels have been released, Captain America, The Winter Soldier, 2014, and Captain America, Civil War, 2016. Plot. In the present day, scientists in the Arctic uncover an old, frozen aircraft with someone frozen inside of it and a circular shield. In March 1942, during World War II, Nazi Lieutenant General Johann Schmidt and HISMEN steal a mysterious relic called the Tesseract B, which possesses untold godly powers, from the town of Tensberg in German-occupied Norway. In New York City, Steve Rogers is rejected for US Army recruitment due to his various health and physical problems. While attending a Stark Expo exhibition by engineer Howard Stark with his best friend, SGT. James Bucky Barnes, Rogers attempts to enlist again. Overhearing Rogers' conversation with Barnes about representing his country in the war, Dr. Abraham Erskine allows Rogers to enlist. He is recruited into the Strategic Scientific Reserve, a part of a super soldier experiment under Erskine, Colonel Chester Phillips, and British Mrs. Agent Peggy Carter. Phillips is unconvinced by Erskine's claims that Rogers is the right person for the procedure long after seeing Rogers jump on a grenade to save his comrades, unaware that it is a test. The night before the treatment, Erskine reveals to Rogers that Schmidt stole his prototype formula and used it on himself, making him superhuman, but suffered permanent side effects. Schmidt and Dr. Arnim Zola harness the energy of the Tesseract, intending to use the power to fuel Zola's inventions and mount an offensive that will change the world. Schmidt discovers Erskine's location and sends an assassin, Hans Kruger, disguised as State Department Representative Fred Clemson, to kill him. Erskine subjects Rogers to the super soldier treatment, injecting him with a special serum and dosing him with Vita Rays. After Roger emerges from the experiment tale and more muscular, Kruger kills her skin and flees with a vial of the serum. Roger pursues and captures Kruger, but the assassin avoids interrogation by committing suicide with a cyanide capsule and destroys the last vial. With her skin dead and HIS super soldier formula lost, US Senator Brand HAS Roger tours the nation in a colorful costume à Captain America to promote war bond while scientists study HIS blood and attempt to reverse engineer the formula. In 1943, while on tour in Italy performing for active servicemen, Roger learns that Barn Unit was EMEA in a battle against Schmid's force. Refusing to believe that Barn is dead, Roger HAS Carter and Stark fly him behind enemy lines to mount a solo rescue attempt. Roger infiltrates the fortress of Schmid's Hydra division, freeing Barn and the other prisoners. Roger confronts Schmid, who removes a mask to reveal a red, skull-like visage that earned him the sobriquet the Red Skull. Schmid escapes, and Roger returns to base with the freed soldiers. Roger recruits Barn, Dom Dugan, Gabe Jones, Jim Morritt, James Montgomery Falsworth, and Jack Dernier to attack other non-Hydra base. Stark outfits Roger with advanced equipment, most notably a circular shield made of vibranium, a rare, nearly indestructible metal. Roger and HIS team sabotage various Hydra operations while he and Carter begin to fall in love. In 1945, the team assaults a train carrying Zola. Roger and Jones succeed in capturing Zola, but Barn falls from the train to HIS apparent death. Using information extracted from Zola, the final Hydra stronghold is located, and Roger leads an attack to stop Schmid from using WMDs on major American city. Roger climbs aboard Schmid's super bombe, the Valkyrie, as it takes off. During the subsequent fight, the Tesseract's container is damaged. Schmid physically renders the Tesseract, causing him to be sucked through a portal into space. The Tesseract burns through the plane and is lost in the ocean. Seeing no way to land the plane without the risk of detonating its weapons, Roger radio Carter and says goodbye to her before crashing in the Arctic. The war in Europe ends, and Stark later recovers the Tesseract from the ocean floor but is unable to locate Roger or the aircraft, presuming him dead. Roger awakens in a 1940s styled hospital room. Hearing a radio broadcast of a baseball game that he attended in 1941, Roger grows suspicious, flees outside, and finds himself in present-day Times Square, where SHIELD director Nick Fury informs him that he has been asleep for nearly 70 years. In a post-credit scene, Fury approaches Roger and proposes a mission with worldwide ramifications. D. Cast: Kevin Feige, Joe Johnston, Chris Evans, and Hugo Weaving at the 2010 San Diego Comic-Con. Chris Evans as Steve Roger / Captain America. A frail young man who is enhanced to the peak of human ability by an experimental serum in order to aid the United States war effort. Ons Evans, who previously worked with Marvel as a Human Torch in the Fantastic Four film series, said he declined the part 3 times before signing a 6-picture deal with Marvel, explaining that, at the time, he remembered telling a buddy of mine, if the movie bombs, I'm afraid sick. If the movie hits, I'm afraid. He was just scared. He realized my whole decision-making process was a fear-based, and you never want to make a decision out of fear. He can't believe he was almost too chicken to play Captain America. 12. Evans ultimately agreed to the role, saying, I think Marvel is doing a lot of good things right now, and it is a fun character. I think the story of Steve Roger is great. He is a great guy. Even if it were just a script about anybody, he would probably want to do it. So it wasn't necessarily about the comics itself. 13. Regarding the extent of the character's abilities, Evans remarked, "He would crash the Olympics. Any Olympic sport is gonna monet. Et quand jump prior, run faster, lift stronger weight, bu et can be injured. Et que roll an ankle and be out for the season. He is not perfect, he is not untouchable. So a lot of the effects, if I'm going to punch someone they're not going to put them on a cable and fly them back 50 feet, bu is going to go down, probably not getting back up, which eating humanizes it. It makes it something that, again, I think everyone can relate to a little bit more, which I really like." 14. Theater actor Leander Dean was Evans' body double in some show for Steve Roger pre-transformation physique, and also appears as a bartender. 15-16. Tommy Lee Jones à Chester Phillips. A colonel in the United States Army and member of the Strategic Scientific Reserve who led the project to create super soldiers. The character was updated from the comics, where Phillips was the one to recruit Roger to join Project Rebirth that made him Captain America. 17 Jones described the character as the one you've seen in 1,000 movies, the gruff, skeptical officer overseeing a team of talented, slightly sarcastic, specially talented soldiers. 18. Hugo Weaving à Johann Schmidt / Red Skull. Adolf Hitler is head of advanced weaponry and commander of the terrorist organization Hydra, whose own plan for world domination involves harnessing the power of the magical object known as the Tesseract. 11-12-19-20 Weaving stated that a patterned Red Skull's accent on those of Werner Herzog and Klaus Maria Brandauer. 21 About the character, Weaving remarked, "I think the major difference between Skull and Cap, they've both the serum, and the serum seems to augment certain qualities that each of them have. Cap is much more in tune with other people eating. Schmid is in tune with himself, and she has own needs, and she has own ego, so I suppose it augments that. From that point of view, they quite opposite." 22. Elle étoile à Margaret Peggy Carter. An officer with the Strategic Scientific Reserve who works with Phillips on the Super Soldier Project. Regarding her preparation for the role, she said, "I'm training at the moment 6 days a week to make her a bit more military and make it convincing that he could kick butt." 23. About the character, Etwell stated, "I likened her character to that famous Ginger Roger Cott. She can do everything Captain America can do, but backwards and in rails. She's an English soldier through and through, although she always looks fabulous. She might stand there with a machine gun shooting Nazi, but she's obviously gone to the loo before and applied a bit of lipstick. She doesn't need to be rescued. That is exciting to me her strength." 24. She added, "I think she's quite stubborn, a slightly frustrated woman who struggles with being a woman in that time. But more importantly she's a modern woman and she sees something in Captain America that she relates to, and becomes kindred spirits. It treats her very differently to how she's been treated by law of men, in this kind of dominated world she lives in. So she's very much a fighter." 25. Sebastian Stan à James Buchanan Bucky Barnes. A sergeant in the United States Army, Roger's best friend, and member of HIS Squad of Commando. Stan has signed on for 5 or 6 pictures. 26 et revealed that he did not know anything about the comics book, but watched a lot of documentaries and film about World War II in preparation for the role, calling Band of Brothers very helpful. About the role, Stan stated, "Steve Roger and Bucky are both orphans and kind of like brothers. They kind of grow up together and look after each other. It is a very human, relatable thing. He also wanted to look out for how their relationship changes. Steve Rogers becomes Captain America. There is always a competition and they always one upping each other. He paid attention to how Bucky is affected by Steve's change and suddenly Steve is this leader. 27. Dominic Cooper à Howard Stark. The father of Tony Stark worked on various government projects dating back to the World War II era. 28-29 Above the role, Cooper stated, "It is an opportunity where you can see his future because he knows the guy who becomes my son and I see myself as an older version in Iron Man 2 which is great for an actor to have those tools. All I know of him is that he is a fantastic engineer and inventor and a very slick hard type that is into aviation and women." 30. Toby Jones as Arnim Zola, a biochemist for the Nazi Party. 31. Neil McDonough à Timothy Dom Dugan. A member of Roger's Squad of Commando. McDonough wore the character as signature bowler hat and side et Gros Dugan as trademark mustache. Abu H's role in the film is remarked, "Oh, I'm going to see a lot of action. I'm the go-to guy, so I'm very happy with that." 32. McDonough was signed on to appear in multiple projects for Marvel, not limited to film. 33. Derek Luke à Gabe Jones. A member of Roger's Squad of Commando. Luke Saide was cast without a script or much of a description of the character. At why he took the part, he just believed that Marvel was doing some really great work, great messages in film. The good versus evil and he was just like, how can he be done? 34. Stanley Tucci as Abraham Erskine. The scientist who created the super soldier serum. 35 Tucci said that what drew him to the role was the opportunity to do a German accent, which was something he always wanted to try. 36. Samuel L. Jackson reprise H's role à Nick Fury, the director of the Super Spy Agency, SHIELD. 37 Kenneth Choi appears as Jim Morita, a Japanese-American member of Roger's Squad of Commando. Choi said he was the last actor to audition for the part and that he resides from Saving Private Ryan. Abu H's preparation for the role, Choi said, he did a lot of WWE research especially in regard to the Nise soldiers, or Japanese-American soldiers. He wanted to get a much true, real-life information for a guy like Jim Morita fighting in WWE. He felt that if he had built a factual basis for him, he could then let go and permit the character to exist in the Marvel Universe, which allows for a lot of imaginative circumstances. 38. Bruno Ricci star à Jacques Dernier, a French member of Roger's Squad of Commando. Ricci auditioned for and got the part while filming the French series The Hawk. 39 Gigi Field appears as James Montgomery Falsworth, a British member of Roger's Squad of Commando. Field called his part in the film a very physical job. He played one of the captain's sidekicks who have been running around shooting things and blowing things up and trying to look cool for Abu Hire. 40. Additionally, Richard Armitage portrays Hans Kruger, the Red Skull's top assassin. 41 Lex Shrapnel portrays Jill Morrodge, a candidate for the Super Soldier Program. 42 Michael Brandon portrays Brand, a United States Senator who recognizes the PR potential of Captain America. 43 Jeff Goldblum had originally been approached to play the part, and later played Grandmaster in Thor, Ragnarok. 44 David Bradley appears as a church keeper where the Tesseract is held. 45 Nathalie Dormer portrays Lorraine, a private who attempts to seduce Roger. 46 and Jenna Coleman appears as Connie, Bucky is that at the World Expo. 47 Laura Haddock, who would go on to portray Meredith Quill in Guardians of the Galaxy, has a brief appearance as an autograph seeker. writer and director of Guardians of the Galaxy James Gunn jokingly claimed that this was Peter Quill's grandmother. 48 Stan Lee has a cameo appearance as a general. 49 Production. Développement. Captain America wants to serve his country, but not this sort of jingoistic American flag waver. Is just a good person. We make a point of that in the script. Don't change who you are once you go from Steve Rogers to this super soldier. You have to stay who you are inside. That is really what is important more than your strength and everything. It is also the idea that this is not about America so much as it is about the spirit of doing the right thing. It is an international cast and an international story. It is about what makes America great and what makes the rest of the world great too. Joe Johnston, director of Captain America, the First Avenger, about the film. 50. In April 1997, Marvel Studios was in negotiations with Mark Gordon and Gary Levinson to produce Captain America, and Larry Wilson and Leslie Boehm were set to write a script. 51 In May 2000, Marvel teamed with Artisan Entertainment to help finance the film. 52 However, a lawsuit arose between Marvel Comics and Joe Simon over the ownership of Captain America copyrights, disrupting the development process of the film. The lawsuit was eventually settled in September 2003. 53 Following the settlement, Marvel was preparing to license the film rights to Warner Bros. Until producer David Maisel suggested that the company produce the film themselves. 54 In 2005, Marvel received a $525 million investment from Merrill Lynch, allowing them to independently produce 10 films, including Captain America. Paramount Pictures agreed to distribute the film. 52, 55, 56 Originally, the film would stand alone. Producer Kevin Feige said about the movie would be set during World War II before moving into the modern day. 57 Producer Avi Arad said, the biggest opportunity with Captain America is as a man out of time, coming back today, looking at our world through the eye of someone who thought the perfect world was small-town United States. 60 years go by, and who are we today? Are we better? He cited the Back to the Future trilogy as an influence, and claimed they had someone in mind to be the star, and definitely someone in mind to be the director. 58 In February 2006, Arad hoped to have a summer 2008 theatrical release date. 59 Jon Favreau approached Arad to direct the film as a comedy, but he chose to make Iron Man instead. 60 In April 2006, David Self was hired to write the script. 61 He explained that Captain America was his favorite superhero as a child because my dad told me he could one day be Captain America. 62 Joe Johnston met with Marvel to discuss directing the film. 63 Captain America was put on hold during the 2007-2008 Writers Guild of America strike. However, in January 2008, Marvel Entertainment reached an interim comprehensive agreement with the Writers Guild of America that would put writers immediately back to work on various projects that were under the company's development. 64 On May 5, 2008, after the success of Iron Man, Marvel announced the film The First Avenger, Captain America, the working title, for release on May 6, 2011, before being pushed back to July 22. 65 Louis Leterrier, director of The Incredible Hulk, viewed some of the concepts are being created for the film and was impressed enough to offer his service, but Marvel turned him down. 66 Johnston finally signed on in November 2008. 63 and they hired Christopher Marcus et Stephen M. Sephili to rewrite. 67 Fesh cited Johnston's directorial work on October Sky and the Rocketeer and HIS special effects work on the original Star Wars trilogy to explain why it was an appropriate choice. Raider of the Lost Ark, in which Johnston worked for the special effects, was an influence on the film, because they hoped the film would not feel like a period piece. 68. When asked whether anti-US sentiment would affect the film's box office, Fesh said, Marvel is perceived pretty well around the world right now, and I think putting another Uber Marvel hero into the worldwide box office would be a good thing. We have to deal with much the same way that Captain America, when shot from the Arctic ice, entered a world that it didn't recognize, similar to the way Stan Lee and Jack Kirby introduced the character in the 1960s. 57 Likewise, Arad noted, Captain America stands for freedom for all democracies, for all around the world. It was created to stop tyranny, and the idea of stopping tyranny is important today as it was then. So I think that we will have some interesting challenge, but at the end of the day if the movie is terrific and the movie talks to the world, it is not about one place, it is about the world, and I think on that basis it will be very successful. 69 Later, after the election of US President Barack Obama, Fesh commented, the idea of change and hope has permeated the country, regardless of politics, and that includes Hollywood. Discussions in all our development meetings include the zeitgeist and how it has changed in the last 2 weeks. Things are being adjusted. 70 The creative team opted to not push the title character to fight any members of the Nazi Party like in a usual World War II movie, as their goal was to depict the conflict through the Marvel Universe's prism. Although they didn't have problems to feature Nazi in the film, with Fesh having an iconic Captain America cover where the character punches Adolf Hitler out, the team felt that using Hydra as a main antagonist would make them be true to the comics book as many aspects. It was because of this that Marcus and MC Philly found sense in using the Cosmic Cube, already set up in Thor, as a film's MacGuffin, while using a younger Howard Stark as a key ally for the protagonist would bring, according to Marcus, that Tony Starkness. 71. Pré-production. Johnston at the 2010 San Diego Comics Con International. In December 2009, director Joe Johnston indicated that he planned to start filming in April 2010. 72 In a separate interview that month, he described the film as pre-production, Rick Heinrichs' production design and were set up down in Manhattan Beach, California. We have 10 really talented artists, and we all just sit around all day and draw pictures and say, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we could do this? It is that phase of the production where money doesn't matter, let's put all the greatest stuff up on the wall and then later see what we can afford. The film, he said, will begin in 1942-1943 during World War II. The stuff in les années 60 and les années 70 comics book we're sort of avoiding. We're going back to les années 40, and then forward to what they're doing with Captain America now. 73 In February 2010, Johnston stated that the invaders will appear in the entire second half of the film. 74 Leading fan to speculate this was the World War II Marvel superhero team of Vietnam. 75 And in November, Johnston refuted speculation that the Submarine, an invaders team member in the comics, would be included. 76 Johnston later explained that the invaders had been discussed simply as a possible name for the squad of Commando Captain America leads in the film. Christopher Marcus, one of the screenwriters, said the unnamed group was called the Howling Commandos in the script, but no one says that out loud. 75 The design as a whole tried to create technology that could be built in the 1940s, though with the added cube technology in Hydra-esque as abandoned Nazi project or actual vehicles from the period were used as inspiration. Daniel Simon, who was previously responsible for many vehicle designs in Tron Legacy 77, was appointed lead vehicle designer. 78 Director Johnston cited Simon's book Cosmic Motor as a reason to trust his influence, saying he sort of the guy he wanted to be when he was designing stuff for Star Wars. 79 The Red Skull's car, for instance, was based on two Mercedes-Benz vehicles from the 1930s, the 540K and the G4. 78 In March 2010, it was reported that Chris Evans was cast as Captain America and Hugo Weaving as the Red Skull on Marvel Studios confirmed the latter in May. 80 John Krasinski, Channing Tatum, Chase Crawford, Ryan Phillippe, Gary Tedland, Michael Cassidy, Patrick Fluger, Scott Porter, Wilson Baselons, Mike Vogel, Dan Cook 81 Ryan MC Parlin 82 Ethan Peck 83 Zachary Levi 84 Jensen Ackles, Wyatt Russell, and Chris Pratt were also considered for the role of Captain America. 85 In April 2010, Sebastian Stan, who originally auditioned for the title role, was cast as Bucky Barnes. Stan is contracted for multiple films. 26-86 Also in April, Marvel announced that Elliot had been cast as Peggy Carter, and that the film's name had been changed from The First Avenger, Captain America to Captain America, The First Avenger. 87 Keira Knightley, Alice Eve, and Emily Blunt were also considered for the role of Peggy Carter. 87 The next day it was reported that Joss Whedon would be rewriting the script as part of his negotiation to write and direct The Avengers. Whedon said in August, "I just got to make some character connection. The structure of the scene was really tight and I loved it, but there were a couple of opportunities to find his voice a little bit and some of the other characters and make the connection so that you understood exactly why I wanted to be who I wanted to be. And progressing through the script to flesh it out a little bit." 88 Samuel L. Jackson revealed in an interview that he would reprise his role as Nick Fury in the film. 37 In May, Toby Jones entered final negotiations to play Arnim Zola. 31 Iron Man director Jon Favreau said a younger Howard Stark would appear in the film, played by Dominic Cooper. 28-29 It was revealed that Tommy Lee Jones would have a role in the film. 89 By June, Neil McDonough was in talks to play Dum Dum Dugan. 90 4 days later, he confirmed he was taking the part. 91 The same day, Stanley Tucci joined the cast as Dr. Abraham Erskine, the scientist who created the super soldier serum. 35 Filming. Photo taken in Manchester on the set of Captain America, The First Avenger. Principal photography began on June 28, 2010-92 with the working title Frostbite. 93 On the same day, Marvel confirmed that Lee Jones had been cast to play US Army Colonel Chester Phillips. 17 The next day Marvel confirmed that Cooper would portray the younger version of Howard Stark, the character played by John Slattery in Iron Man 2. 94 It was announced that the film would shoot in London in late July and was expected to include scenes featuring key London landmarks. 95 War scenes were filmed in September at the former Royal Navy Propellant Factory in the Welsh village of Carwant. 96-97 Filming was scheduled to take place that month in the northern part of Manchester, where part of the 2004 film Alfie and the 2009 Sherlock Holmes had been shot. 98 Followed by the Stanley Dock area of Liverpool, both doubling for the period's Lower East Side of Manhattan. 99 further scenes were scheduled to be shot in Liverpool's Albert Dock. St. Johnston included a scene of a technology fair that includes in passing a display case containing the 1940s Android superhero known as the original Human Torch, another character, like Captain America, in comics published by Marvel Comics predecessor, Timely Comics. 101. Some filming also took place at Pinewood Studio 102 with Pinewood as a stage, their south dock, and their underwater stage all being used by the crew. 6 months of filming also occurred at Shepperton Studio, with 9 stages being used. 103. In July 2010, Marvel Studio had Kevin Feige said that both this film and Thor would be released in 3D. 104 Johnston did a one-day test shooting with a 3D rig, rather than shooting in 2D and converting, and found it a nightmare due to bulky GAR, calibration issue and restricted film-making options. Nevertheless, he said he believes 3D is a new challenge and it is exciting. Feige insisted that the conversion would not compromise the film's image quality, as the decision to release the film in 3D was made early in development, and that an unprecedented amount of time would be devoted to the conversion process, to render all the film's visual effects in true 3D. 104 In November 2010, Stanley Tucci stated that he had completed filming HES scenes and that the rest of the production would wrap in about 3 weeks. 105. Post-production. Evans après serum Steve Roger before, top, and after, bottom, et was visually reduced. In February 2011, it was announced that Alan Silvestri had been chosen to compose the film score. 106 In March 2011, it was reported that Captain America, the first Avenger would be undergoing reshoots in the United Kingdom and in Los Angeles in April 2011. 107-108 A scene was also filmed in New York City's Times Square on April 23, 2011. 109. The film features nearly 1,600 visual effects shows, which were split between 13 different companies. 110 To achieve the appearance of the skinny, pre-serum Steve Roger, director Joe Johnston stated that he used 2 major techniques. Most of the shows were done by a NLA company called Lola that specializes in digital plastic surgery. The technique involved shrink increase in all dimensions. We shot each skinny Steve scene at least 4 times, once like a normal scene with Chris and HES fellow actors in the scene, once with Chris alone in front of a green screen so HES element could be reduced digitally, again with everyone in the scene but with Chris absent so that the shrunken Steve could be reinserted into the scene, and finally with a body double mimicking Chris's actions in case the second technique were required. When Chris had to interact with other characters in the scene, we had to either lower Chris or raise the other actors on Apple box or elevated walkway to make skinny Steve shorter in comparison. For close UPS, Chris' fellow actors had to look at marks on HES shin that represented where HES would be after the shrinking process, and Chris had to look at marks on the top of the actor's head to represent their eye. The second technique involved grafting Chris's head onto the body double. This technique was used mostly when Chris was sitting or lying down, or when a minimum of physical acting was required. 111. Captain America's shield, which served both a defensive tool and a weapon, came in 4 types: metal, fiberglass, rubber, and computer graphics, centigrams. 110 Prop Master Barry Gibbs specified that we had the hero shield which was made of aluminum, for our beauty show and close-up work. We then created a light shield that was aluminum faced with a fiberglass back, for use on a daily basis. And then we had a stunt shield made of polyurethane, which is sort of a synthetic rubber, and we made an ultra soft one we put on Evan's back, so that if there were an accident, it wouldn't hurt him. 75 Visual Effects Supervisor Christopher Townsend Said Evans would practice swing in the practical shield so he knew the arc and the speed at which he should move. We would take the shield from rim and shoot the scene with trim my minute. Then we would add in a centigram shield. 110. Hugo Weaving, who portrayed the Red Skull, wore a latex mask conceived by prosthetic makeup designer David White. The visual effects teamed to manipulate Ashi's face considerably, as the mask was bulky and they wanted to make it look like tight skin wrapped around a very bony structure. They thinned out Weaving's cheeks and lower lip, hollowed out Ashi's eye, and removed Ashi's eyelashes and nose to make him appear more like the Red Skull character. 110. Closing credits were created by visual effects firm RAK, by means of 3D and stereoscopic processing that used iconic American noir propaganda, such as James Montgomery Flagg's Uncle Sam recruitment poster from World War I and G. Howard Miller's We Can Do It. Poster from World War II. 112. Musique. Further information, Captain America, The First Avenger, soundtrack. The soundtrack album for Captain America, The First Avenger includes the original score by Alan Silvestri, as well as an original song, Star Spangled Man, with music composed by Alan Menken and lyric by David Zippel. The soundtrack was recorded at Air Studios in London and released by Walt Disney Records on Juillet 19, 2011. 113. Marketing. Evans promoting the film at Comics-Con in July 2011 during the military salute. At the 2010 San Diego Comics-Con International, some footage that had been shot in the previous week was shown at the San Diego Convention Center. 21 The first television advertisement aired during Super Bowl XLV on the Fox Network in the United States. Paramount paid $3 million to run the 30-second advertisement. 114 The first full trailer was released in March 2011. 115 In May 2011, the USO girls from the film performed aboard the USS Intrepid at the Intrepid Sea Air Space Museum as a part of the 2011 Fleet Week celebration in New York City. 116 In June 2011, Dunkin' Donuts and Baskin Robbins teamed with Marvel to search for real-life super soldiers. The contest sought nomination for veterans or active US service persons making a difference where they live or serve. 117 In July 2011, Paramount Pictures promoted the film during an Independence Day celebration hosted by the Chicago White Sox. 118 Promotional partners include Harley-Davidson, Dunkin' Donuts and Baskin Robbins. 119. In February 2011, Marvel Comics launched the 8-issue digital comics Captain America, First Vengeance, on the same day as the first trailer aired. Written by Fred Van Lent and featuring a rotation of artists, the story is set in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Each of the 8 issues focuses on a specific character from the movie, heroes and villains alike, and what brought them to the point where the movie begins. 120. Sega announced a video game tie-in titled Captain America, Super Soldier, that was released on Juillet 19, 2011, for the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, Wii, and Nintendo DS. 121 Marvel released the mobile game, Captain America, Sentinel of Liberty, in Juillet 2011. 122 A toy line was released as well. 123. Release. Theatrical. El Capitan Theatre in Hollywood, California before the movie's world premiere. The world premiere of Captain America, The First Avenger was held on Juillet 19, 2011, at the El Capitan Theatre in Hollywood, California. 124 The film was screened at the San Diego Comics-Con International on Juillet 21, 2011. 125 It was commercially released in the United States and Canada on Juillet 22, 2011. 126-127 Captain America, The First Avenger is part of Phase 1 of the MCU. 128. Paramount acted against altering the American-centric title when distributing to foreign territories, instead offering international market a choice between the official title and the alternative The First Avenger. Many international distributors chose to retain the original title, believing the franchise name to be more identifiable than the alternative, and that the latter would risk losing ticket sales. 3 countries chose the alternative title: Russia, South Korea, and Ukraine. An insider speaking to the New York Times explained that the name change in these countries stemmed from cultural and political concerns, though Marvel and Paramount both declined to state an official reason. 129 In July 2011, it was thought that the film would not be released in China because of a policy limiting the number of foreign films screened there each year. 129 But it eventually opened there in the second weekend of September. 130. Days before the film's release, a teaser trailer for The Avengers that served as a post-credit scene of Captain America, The First Avenger was briefly leaked online. Entertainment Weekly speculated it came from a previous screening and described the footage as shaky, fuzzy, flickering and obviously filmed on a cell phone. 131 Captain America, The First Avenger was formatted and screened in IMAX for the first time on August 31, 2018, a part of Marvel Studios' this year Anniversary IMAX Festival. 132. Home Media. Captain America, The First Avenger was released by Paramount Home Entertainment on Blu-ray, Blu-ray 3D and DVD on October 25, 2011. The 3-disc set includes the film on Blu-ray in high definition 3D and in high definition 2D, as well as on standard definition DVD with a digital copy. The 2-disc Blu-ray/DVD combo pack includes a high definition presentation of the film and a standard definition presentation with a digital copy. Both sets include over an hour of bonus material, including the short film A Funny Scene Happened on the Way to Torres Summer, a sneak peek of The Avengers, Cyber and the Skinny Featurette, and deleted scenes with commentary by director Joe Johnston, director of photography Shelley Johnson and editor Jeff Ford. 133 In its first week of release, Captain America, The First Avenger tapped the Blu-ray and DVD sales charts, selling 1.54 million Blu-ray units and 726,000 DVD units and making a combined total of $52.6 millions. 134-135. The film was also collected in a disc box set titled Marvel Cinematic Universe, Phase 1 Avengers Assembled, which includes all of the Phase 1 films in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. 136 It was released on April 2, 2013. 137-138 Captain America, The First Avenger was released by Walt Disney Studios Home Entertainment on Ultra HD Blu-ray on February 26, 2019. 139. Reception. Box Office. Captain America, The First Avenger earned $176.7 million in North America and $193.9 million internationally, for a worldwide total of $370.6 millions. 4. Captain America, The First Avenger opened on Juillet 22, 2011, in the United States and earned $4 millions in midnight showings, outgrossing other 2011 original superhero film like Thor and Green Lantern as well as a prequel X-Men, First Class, which all made between $3.25 million and $3.5 million in Friday midnights. 140 On Friday, the film opened at the number 1 spot at the American and Canadian box office with $25.7 million. 141 It then went on to make $65.1 million in what was the second highest grossing opening weekend for a superhero film in 2011, behind Thor, $65.7 million. 142 At the time of its release, Captain America, the first Avenger became the third highest grossing motion picture set during the World War II era, after Saving Private Ryan and Pearl Harbor. 143. Critical response. The review aggregator Rotten Tomatoes reported an approval rating of 80%, with an average score of 7 dixièmes, based on 275 reviews. The website has consensus reads, with plenty of pulpy action, a pleasantly retro vibe, and a handful of fine performance, Captain America is solidly old-fashioned blockbuster entertainment. 144. Metacritic, which assigns a weighted average score, rated the film 66 out of 100 based on 43 reviews from critics indicating generally favorable reviews. 145 Audience polled by Cinema Score gave the film an average grade of A on an A+2 F scale. 146. Roger Moore of the Orlando Sentinel gave Captain America, the first Avenger a positive review, saying, Johnston has delivered a light, clever and deftly balanced adventure picture with real lamp in the throat nostalgia, with Nazi who make the best villains, and with loving references to Star Wars and Raider of the Lost Ark. 147 Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times remarked, he enjoyed the movie. He appreciated the 1940s period settings and costume, which were a break with the usual generic cityscapes. He admired the way that director Joe Johnston propelled the narrative. He got a sense of a broad story, rather than the impression of a series of sensational set pieces. If Marvel is wise, it will take this environment as its templates. 148 A.O. Scott of the New York Times declared it pretty good fun. 149. Karina Longworth of the Village Voice gave the film a negative review, calling it a rocky, tour plus exercise in franchise transition / price gouging, complete with utterly unnecessary post-converted 3D. 150 Peter de Bruges of Variety said, Captain America, the first Avenger plays like a by the number prequel for Marvel Studios for scam in the Avengers movie. 151 Kirk Cranicat of the Hollywood Reporter had mixed feeling about the film, writing, as the last Marvel prequel that includes 2 Iron Man and Incredible Hulk movies before next summer as the Avengers, this one feels perhaps a little too simplistic and routine. 152. Accolade. Year Award Category Recipients Result Ref. 2011 Teen Choice Award Choice Summer, Movie Captain America, the first Avenger nominated 153. Choice Summer Movie Star, Mal Chris Evans nominated. Scream Award The Ultimate Scream Captain America, the first Avenger nominated 154. Best Science Fiction Movie Captain America, the first Avenger nominated. Best Science Fiction Actress Ellie Atwell nominated. Best Science Fiction Actor Chris Evans nominated. Best Villain Hugo Weaving a Red Skull nominated. Best Superhero Chris Evans a Captain America 1. Best Supporting Actor Tommy Lee Jones nominated. Breakout Performance Female Ellie Atwell nominated. Fight Scene of the Year Final Battle, Captain America vs. Red Skull nominated. Best 3D Movie Captain America, the first Avenger nominated. Best Comics Book Movie Captain America, the first Avenger nominated. 2012 BAMI Film et TV Award Film Music Award Alan Silvestri 155. People's Choice Award Favorite Movie Superhero Chris Evans nominated 156. Visual Effects Society Award Outstanding Visual Effects in a Visual Effect Driven Feature Motion Picture Charlie Noble, Mark Soper, Christopher Townsend, and Edson Williams nominated 157. Outstanding Compositing in a Feature Motion Picture Casey Allen, Tran Close, Brian Rejek, and Cliff Welch won. Empire Award Best Sci-Fi / Fantasy Captain America, The First Avenger nominated 158. MTV Movie Award Best Hero Captain America nominated 159. Saturn Award Best Science Fiction Film Captain America. The First Avenger nominated 160. Best Actor Chris Evans nominated. Best Supporting Actor Stanley Tucci nominated. Best Music Alan Silvestri nominated. Best Production Design Rick Heinrichs nominated. Best Costume Anne B. Shepard nominated. Best Special Effects Mark Soper, Christopher Townsend, Paul Corwood nominated. Future Sequels. Further information, List of Marvel Cinematic Universe film. Captain America, The Winter Soldier. Main article, Captain America, The Winter Soldier. A sequel, Captain America, The Winter Soldier, directed by Anthony and Joseph Russo, was released on April 4, 2014. 161-162 Evans, Stan, Atwell, Toby Jones, and Jackson reprise their roles as Captain America, Bucky Barnes, Peggy Carter, Arnim Zola, and Nick Fury, respectively. They are joined by Scarlett Johansson, Anthony Mackie, Cobie Smulders, Frank Grillo, Emily Van Camp, and Robert Redford and Natasha Romanoff / Black Widow, Sam Wilson / Falcon, Maria Hill, Brack Rulow, Sharon Carter, and Alexander Pierce, respectively. 163. Captain America, Civil War. Main article, Captain America, Civil War. Captain America, Civil War was released on May 6, 2016, and again is directed by the Russo brothers. 164-165 Evans, Johansson, Stan, Mackie, Grillo and Van Camp reprise their roles from The Winter Soldier 166-167 and they are joined by Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark / Iron Man, Paul Bettany as Vision, Jeremy Renner as Clint Barton / Hawkeye, Dot Cheadle as James Rhodey Rhodes / War Machine, Elizabeth Olsen as Wanda Maximoff / Scarlet Witch, Paul Rudd as Scott Lang / Ant-Man and William Hurt as Eddie as Thunderbolt Ross 168 all reprising roles from previous MCU film. Chadwick Boseman, Tom Holland and Daniel Brühl also star as T'Challa / Black Panther, Peter Parker / Spider-Man and Helmut Zemo, respectively. Marvel One Shot. Main article, Agent Carter, film. In September 2013, Marvel released the one-shot short film, Agent Carter, on Iron Man 3's home media release, featuring Atwell reprising her role as Peggy Carter. Set a year after the first Avenger, the film sees Carter on a nécessaire mission post-World War II. 169.